Good morning. I thought I'd be live today, but there's a lot going on. So pre-recorded, pre-recorded early in the morning on Friday. So TGIF, happy Friday, all that jazz. Today is the 18th day of February, and this is the 35th episode of season 3 of the Be Your Own Hero show. Hero is an acronym. It means helping everyone reaps optimism. In other words, helping others helps you. It's a reciprocal action. Try it. I think you might like it. I'm clearly on location again. This time I'm on location in Florida, and I think it might be raining. We'll see. Let me just move the computer a little further away, just in case. If you see me move quickly, that's because I've determined it's raining. So anyway, um, so I'm in Florida, and it's warm. Warm is an understatement. It's sunny. It's bright. Like, it's not sunny right this second, but I arrived yesterday and it was bright and sunny and lovely. And this morning I ran my run early in the 4 o'clock hour because it was already 70 degrees. It was 67 degrees. And I was like, I can't wait till later. It's going to be like 102. So let me get it over with. So I did my run early this morning. You can check out the run report on social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and check out my brief run report from early this morning. Today is, I didn't even finish all my introductory stuff. I'm glad it's Freeflow Friday. Introductory stuff. So shout out to New Thought Media Network for allowing me this platform to talk about my journey of being my own hero. This is, I said the date and the episode. Check me out here Monday through Friday, 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time. If this show provides any value, please like, please comment, and please share. That helps the show grow. Season 3 is all about doing, which is about taking action. And, disclaimers. I'm not a personal trainer, nor am I a financial advisor, so take what I say with a grain of salt. Do your own due diligence. Okay, all that said, back to the fact that I ran early this morning to avoid the heat of the day. And today was day 263 for my run streak. Day 263. I wonder how many states I've run in. I have to figure out what that is. That'll be a cool thing to add up. Different states, different cities over the past 263 days. Anyway, let me not get distracted. So charity run news, we are up to 67%. Very cool, very cool. I got a couple of donations while I was in Mississippi. And yeah, 67%, almost 70%. We're winding on down. So please share it if you haven't already, and donate if you can. Again, we're raising money for Mr. Charles, who fell and broke his foot in the snow and ice in Nashville a couple weeks ago. And we're helping him get back on his feet, literally and figuratively. Okay, so all that said, my dice. Do I have my dice? I don't even know if I rolled it earlier. So envelope challenge is $2. Envelope challenge for today, Friday, is $2. Yeah. And those of you in the doing tribe, I've already posted it. So $2 for today. Move $2 from your checkings into your savings with the intent of investing that money, not just saving it, but actually investing it. This is how we're circumventing the excuse of I don't have enough money to invest. Just move a little bit over and use that money to invest. Again, today's number is $2. $2. Okay, so mornings in, as you know, I've been reading the 4 agreements. If you've been watching the show, you know that I've been reading the 4 agreements, and we've gotten to the 4th agreement, which is do your best. That said, there's a lot to say about the various 4 agreements. So I want to read this. Okay, so the 4 agreements are: be impeccable with your word, don't take anything personally, don't make assumptions, and always do your best. That's it. 4 very simple, simple in concept, 4 very simple ideas. That said, they can be challenging to execute. So let's see. Here we go. The first 3 agreements only work if you do your best. Don't expect that you will always be able to be impeccable with your word. Your routine habits are too strong and firmly rooted in your mind, but you can do your best. I feel like I read this one already. Anyway, I'll finish reading. Don't expect that you will never be able to take anything personally. Just do your best. Don't expect that you will never make another assumption, but you can certainly do your best. Yes, I definitely read this passage already. So let me read this other section that I highlighted. Let's see. Okay. If you are impeccable with your word, if you don't take anything personally, if you don't make assumptions, if you always do your best, then you are going to have a beautiful life. You are going to have a beautiful life. You're going to control your life 100%. That's great, right? Who doesn't want a beautiful life? And I believe it. I believe it because these 4 simple edicts are very, let me watch my language. These 4 edicts require a certain amount of willpower. And I agree with the idea that if you exert the right amount of willpower to do this work, it will benefit you greatly. Okay, so let me just read this, which is basically what I'm saying about it requiring will. It's so simple and logical that even a child can understand the 4 agreements, but you must have a very strong will to keep these agreements. Why? Because wherever we go, we find that our path is full of obstacles. No matter what we're doing, no matter what we're trying to accomplish, there will be obstacles. And you have to train yourself to see the opportunity in the obstacle, which is a whole other conversation. But you must continue to exert your willpower to accomplish these 4 agreements in real time. Oh, and if you slip and fall, be gentle with yourself. It's here, if you break an agreement, begin again tomorrow and again the next day. It will be difficult at first, but each day will become easier and easier. Rain check. I think we're good. All right. So anyway, that is a little excerpt of the 4 agreements. I'm still reading that. I'm still reading the 50th law. Oh, I got some good stuff from the 50th law, but I'll save that for later. Again, the 50th law, the 4 agreements is by Miguel Ruiz, and the 50th law is by 50 Cent and Robert Greene. Robert Greene is the famous author of the 48 Laws of Power. Okay, moving on. Let's get into some abundance really quickly. So abundance, affirmation. I am so happy and grateful to be a multimillionaire in every area of my life. I am so happy and grateful to be a multimillionaire in every area of my life. Okay, and the reminder, if you only spend, you'll stay poor. If you only save, you'll stay middle class. If you want to get wealthy, you must invest, you must invest, you must invest. It's not an option. Okay, so Free Flow Friday, as it's already been a Free Flow Friday so far, we're going to continue to free flow with it. We've talked about a lot of different things this week, very kind of random assortment of things. We've talked about Japanese candlesticks and that method of reading stock charts. We've talked about Sir Isaac Newton and the plague that turned him into a genius, quote unquote, turned him into a genius, because simply what he did was practice. He practiced math specifically, but studying in general. And that is what hatched open the genius mind that was always within. So we talked about him. We talked about fundamental analysis of stock versus technical analysis of stock. And I got a couple of questions from Nan that we talked about in terms of how to read the market, like what the people who are trading stocks are looking at. And I was just fascinated to realize that they're generally looking at 1 or 2 stocks. Like they get a read for the market by looking at the chart for the Dow, for the NASDAQ. But when they're trying to trade, generally speaking, they're looking at 1 or 2 stocks. And the more they look at them, the more they get to know those stocks and how they move, which really, for me, I don't know about for you, but for me, that makes it much less daunting to just figure out how to study 1 stock, 1 or 2. I think that's pretty exciting. So anyway, I've got another question from Nan that I want to get into in a second, but I just wanted to offer an invitation for those of you who have gotten into the stock market, and I hope all of you have. I hope everyone's in the market now. You should, let me not say should, Do your own due diligence, do your own research. But what I am doing, put it that way, what I'm doing is making a distinction between fundamental and technical for myself. So the portfolios that I've created thus far in the course of during the course of the show are fundamental portfolios. Like I'm expecting to buy and hold and let those portfolios accumulate in value, let those positions accumulate in value, which will expand the net worth of the portfolio. So basically buy and hold. But I am now also experimenting with technical analysis, which means kind of reading the charts, reading the tea leaves to trade. So you don't have to choose between fundamental and technical analysis. You can do both, and many people do. So just once again, fundamental is buy and hold. Like let's say buying index funds, buying the S&P 500, buying ETFs, and just set it and forget it, and just keep adding money to it so that it grows faster. Put the dividends on drip. With dividend drip is short for dividend reinvestment plan. So turn on the drip so the dividends automatically reinvest themselves and just let it grow over time, right? And then separately, you can have an account for trading, which is using a technical analysis to read the charts, know when to get in and when to get out so that you can make short-term money. So this is called, it's called many things, but the phrase I like the best is cash flow. This is cash flowing the stock market. You know, people say they're cash flowing a house by renting it out. Well, this trading is essentially cash flowing the stock market. Okay, so the invitation that I'm offering is for you to consider if you're going to be strictly a fundamentalist or strictly a technical analyst, or if you're going to combine the two. You know, it's up to you. It's entirely up to you. There's no wrong answer here. Just decide how you want to interact with the stock market. Okay, that said, where's the question that Nan asked? Oh, so here we go. So Nan was asking about a rule about buying stock after you sold it. And I had no idea what she meant. And so I looked into it and I have two answers. The first is that when you trade, your money needs time to settle. And it's the same thing when you close a position and you're not even trying to trade. Like let's say you've got stock in the table. I like to use names that aren't real stock. So, you know, the stock in the barbecue grill company, right? So when you close that position, it'll take a few days in most cases for the money to show up on the cash side of your brokerage account. It just needs time to what they call settle. So same thing with stocks. I mean, same thing when you're trading. Like the machinery is the same. So you close your position in barbecue grill and you want to buy back in. Well, if you want to buy back in using those funds, those same funds that you just cashed out, you got to wait for the funds to settle before you can buy back in. And so that takes some days. And so you can't just cash out at 1 o'clock and then buy back in at 1:02 unless you're going to use some funds from elsewhere. So that's my first answer. And actually, let's just talk about the implications for a minute. So it means, at least at this level, that we're talking about swing trading. Swing trading is trading stocks kind of over a longer period of time. Day trading is trading stocks within a day. That's people who sit at their computer all day long, jumping in and out of stock positions to make money for the day. They close out all their positions at the end of the day and don't carry any positions over until the next day. Whereas swing traders jump in and out on a much longer time scale and don't feel any pressure to close all their positions by the end of the day. So you might close your position on barbecue grill company, and then you know you want to get back in, but it doesn't matter to you that you can't get back in for a couple of days. So it's important to note that there are distinctions in stock trading based on how often you do it. So for me, I've been quote unquote swing trading. And I say quote unquote just because I'm just sticking my toes in the water. But I have traded some stocks. I've mentioned it here before in very small amounts. I'm getting ahead of myself right now, but very small amounts, 40 cents, 41 cents, 25 cents, 50 cents, you know, little tiny trades. But I've been swing trading, which means I'm not sitting there watching every day, all day, trying to make these trades. I'm just setting the program to look for certain criteria. And if those criteria are met, then the stock sells. Okay, let me circle back to Nan's question. So I talked about the money needs to settle. And the second answer is something called a wash sale rule. I didn't find out about this until just now, and it's very good information for all of us to know. So there's something called a wash sale rule, and it states that if an investment is sold at a loss and then repurchased within 30 days, the initial loss cannot be claimed for tax purposes. So basically, you need to wait 31 days before repurchasing the same investment that you sold at a loss. Now, I don't know what happens if you sell it for profit. I haven't gotten that far yet. But if you sell it at a loss, you can't buy back in within, well, I guess you can, but you should not buy back in within 31 days. So that's great information. I had no idea that rule existed, so I'll pay attention to that. Thanks for the question, Ian. And thanks for everyone else who's dropping questions in the chat. I appreciate it. So that said, I want to circle back to Webull. So let me just recap that in case I was moving too quickly. So in terms of buying stock again, you need to wait for the funds to settle, just like a bank transfer. You got to wait for the funds to settle. And then also pay attention to the wash sale rule, meaning if you sell a stock at a loss, you should wait 31 days before you buy back into that exact same stock. Okay, so back to my fundamental versus technical analysis buckets. So Webull does not offer DRIP. Again, that's the dividend reinvestment plan. They don't even offer it. And there are some brokerage houses that don't, right? So that makes it easier for me to think of Webull as my stock trading portfolio. That's where I will experiment with trading. And I invite you to think of it the same way. Again, do your own research, but it doesn't have DRIP, and the positions are fairly, I don't want to use the word complicated, but it's less user friendly than Cash App or Robinhood. And that sounds like a bad thing, but it's good because the more you look at it, the more you get used to looking at it. And you can find a chart for any of the positions you own. So as I mentioned several times before, you can use my link on my Facebook page to get free stock from Webull. And then once you do that, you should look at the stocks and figure out how to get to the chart. So you can get to the chart and look at the stocks that you own. And again, many traders started trading one stock, and many of them continue to just trade one stock. So you can just look at the stocks that they give you for free, that Webull give you for free, to figure out how they move. It's a great training ground. So as I mentioned earlier, I've done about 4 or 5 trades now. I have done them very easily, meaning that the process was easy. So Webull gave me a stock, for example, at $4. And so I just pretended that I bought the stock for $4 just to kind of train my mind. So I bought the stock for $4 and I want to make 25 cents. And I just chose that number arbitrarily. Let's decide I want to make 25 cents. And so I set the program because it's easy to set up. I set the, what's the actual term for it so you can find it? It'll come to me. But I set the look for it while I talk. So I set the program itself to sell if it ever hit $4.25, and it did like within a day or two. And so the next one I did. What did I do? I did 50 cents. They gave me a stock for $10, and I decided I was going to sell it for $10.50. And again, this is not me watching the stock markets. It's not me checking my phone every 5 minutes. I literally just set the system to always be searching for those terms, always be searching for a price point of $10.50 in one case and $4.25 in the other case. And no matter when that happens, it'll cash out on its own. So I come to my Webull account and I see, oh, wow, that trade was made. So super easy. It's like automating an email to be sent out later. Super easy, which again belies what I previously thought about trading. So obviously I'm not doing much, but it's just comforting to know that it's not as complicated as I once thought. So let me see if I can figure out how to, what's it called? I'm sorry, I can't remember what it's called. I'm sorry, it'll come to me. Whenever it comes to me, I'll circle back and remind you of something. But oh, limit order, there it is. You sell at a limit order. So you just click the button to sell, which is red, and then it'll give you the option to sell like right now or to sell as limit order later. And limit means you limit the price. And so you just choose a limit order for later on. Say, I'm going to sell at this price later on. That's it. Easy. So all that said, I'm going to continue to hold Webull as my sandbox for stock trading. And if you haven't already, get your free stock, because who knows how long it'll last. But they're giving away real stock, multiple shares, and that can easily be your sandbox to figure out how this whole thing works and play with house money without any risk. Okay, so I always move so much faster when I'm recording versus live. I don't know what that's about. Anyway, let me see what else I wanted to talk about. We talked about the 4 agreements. We talked a little bit about 50. We talked about Sir Isaac Newton, trading. Yeah, I guess that's it. Is my next phase for teaching myself about stock trading is figuring out how to do a stop loss. So I've described how I've done my trades thus far, and that's all I know how to do. Like, pretend that I bought the stock for the price that they give it to me for, and then decide how much more than that I want to make, and then just set up an automated system to sell it, right? But there's something called a stop loss, and the idea for a stop loss is if you buy into a stock, and you buy a position, you want to make sure that you don't lose too much money. So it's like a floor. You set a floor that if it comes back down and hits this floor, that it'll automatically sell. Again, all this stuff is automated. It's not like you're doing a whole lot manually. But so you want to set a floor, and then if it hits that floor, it'll stay in the position as long as it doesn't hit the floor. But if it comes down and hits that position, then it'll automatically sell, so you don't lose too much money. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that. That'll be my next thing. And then after that, I'm trying to figure out how to do a trailing stop loss, because apparently a trailing stop loss moves with the position. So as the stock goes up, the stop loss goes up with it. Now that's amazing, right? So if the position goes way high, the trailing stop loss will go up with it. And now if it comes down, it only comes down to here, it'll cash you out at this high level as opposed to this level. So that's pretty exciting too. So yeah, I'm going to continue to go down the rabbit hole and figure some things out. I've been reading more about the turtles, which I've talked about before, the turtle trading group, the group of regular old Joe Schmoes who became multimillionaires by learning how to trade over the course of 1 month. 1 month, which really drives home the point that we can all do this. Who doesn't have a month? You know, you never know how much time you have, but it's comforting to think of studying something for a month and then being able to make $80,000 to $31 million, and those numbers are not arbitrary. One of the most successful of the turtle traders made $80,000 in his month of training, and then went on to make $31 million for the company, and then went on to run his own businesses. Like, because he had $31 million, he could do whatever he wanted. So he was just kind of teaching and lecturing and doing these other things, but, you know, not really trading. So anyway, I say all that to say that we can learn it, and we can learn it together. So I think that's it. I'm going to close out. Stay tuned for prayer time at 10:15. Stay tuned for Sit with Rev Melissa at 10:30. I won't be producing that show today, but I'll be there with you in spirit. And keep doing, be a hero, be your own financial hero. Remember that now is better than perfect for investing. So get out there and invest. And I'm glad the rain held up. Appreciate that. All right, later.